Hey friends, thanks for watching. I don't know if you read the title of this, but do you have any issues with anything I mentioned? Memory issues, mood changes, so many things. My friend Laura is about to join us, so um, we can do a few minutes and talk about the impact that we're having with sleep. And remember, at the end of this week, if you've commented, and we're going to have a prize for someone who comments the most. So here comes Laura Proof. Here she comes. Hey, girlfriend, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's funny when it does a split screen. It's like I feel like my head's giant, but that's okay.
Yeah, mine does too.
All right. So I just told everyone that at the end of this week, if they're commenting and they watch a few minutes every day, at the end of the week, whoever comments, we're gonna have a raffle for someone to win something to help them. So, and you saw what I titled it, right? So it's amazing how many things are affected by sleep. So if you want to give your little part.
Yeah, it's you mentioned that we're going to give something out at the end of the week. That's what I'm really excited about, is because what we're going to give away can really promote feeling restful and relaxing yourself when you go to sleep. And it's something that I use, and I'm really excited to share it with people, because one of the things that a lot of times happens is people are wound up before they go to sleep. And so not being able to manage your worries before you go to sleep, then your head keeps going and going and going. And one thing that I learned is, if you jot down what's on your mind and you write it out and you get it out of your brain, that is one way that can help you get to sleep.
I tell that to my clients all the time. Keeping a notebook by the bed and just getting it out of your head is a way to deprogram and just let your brain rest. It's like a computer virus that you need to let go, and writing it out is the magic.
Mm-hmm. And you said the word rest. So that's a key to the prize that we're going to give away. So anyway, so what do we want to talk about? We're going to talk about what the impact of bad sleep, and then we found some great tips for people. So do you want to share some of the things?
So it's funny, we tend to blame a lot of these issues, or even I have over the years, on other things in our lives, but what we don't realize, that sleep is the basis for all of it. And if you could get better sleep, like memory issues, like you might think about that once in a while, like, oh, you're a little forgetful one day because you didn't sleep great. My dog, we had a bad storm last night and my dog was up, but again, CBD, and he calmed down thankfully, but I was fine today. But sometimes memory issues, you can attribute it that, but long term, you can imagine if you chronically aren't getting enough sleep, this is going to affect your memory over the long term. So people think it could be other issues that people are having, but maybe the source of it is really your sleep. And then mood changes, when people are cranky, but chronic sleep deprivation is going to cause a lot of issues. So mood changes, weakened immunity, which is so important right now. One of the things I never hear anyone announcing for our health is to get good sleep. And because weakened immunity comes from not having enough sleep. So isn't this an important time to have a strong immunity system? And lack of sleep increases your risk for diabetes, which we don't need that too, which all goes into this vicious cycle that we're all watching right now. Low sex drive. So I even put that in the title, like, oh, so we attribute that to a lot of things, aging, hormones, all that stuff. But could you imagine, like, it could be something as simple as getting better sleep is going to improve your sex drive, which is really important for all of us. Trouble thinking and concentrating, like, that's a big deal. Accidents are much more prevalent when people are not getting enough sleep. High blood pressure, that's another thing that people attribute to many other things, but they probably never look at their sleep. Weight gain, how many people do you hear complaining about weight gain? And if you go back to saying, like, how are you sleeping? Tell me your habits. And I see a lot of clients with this, and if you could just have them rest better so their body can heal when they sleep, all these issues are going to be better. And then risk of heart disease from lack of sleep, it all goes together. Poor balance, lack of sleep could affect your balance and coordination, making you more prone to falls and other physical accidents, which are going to cause other problems. So I'm blown away at how many things go back to how are you sleeping? Are you getting enough rest? And I think it's amazing. So there's a lot of ways that you can help yourself. And if you want to share some of those, I think you got one big one already.
Yeah, I mean, managing your worries, because we're in such a go, go, go society. But I think it is completely amazing that there are so many things that we're faced with, but it's kind of a lot of it's under our control, right? Is how we're sleeping. So managing our worries, that's one thing you can do. Jot things down on a piece of paper at night before you go to bed. Get it out of your brain. The second thing is your sleep cycle. Try to set aside no more than 8 hours a night if possible, and keep that sleep cycle. But on the weekends, a lot of times we tend to sleep in and get extra hours. But what the research shows is that you should really keep it within that 1 hour. Don't like sleep in for 12 hours. Try to keep your same sleep cycle during the weekend so your body is feeling consistent. It feels in balance. Okay, so the other thing is pay attention to what you're eating and drinking. Eating late at night, not a good idea to have a bunch of food in your belly, right? That really just doesn't allow you have these heavy meals in your stomach. So that it gives you discomfort, it keeps you up, and that's really not good for your weight as well. And then nicotine and caffeine obviously are going to keep you up, but also alcohol. Think about it. Alcohol, you can fall asleep, but what happens is later in your sleep cycle, that's when it might make you kind of wake up and your sleep cycle is disrupted with alcohol as well. So really managing that as well. So we've got managing our worries, we've got our sleep cycle, we've got paying attention to what we're eating and drinking before we go to bed, creating a restful environment. Is your room a restful environment? Is it inviting? Is it cool? Is it dark? Is it quiet? Do you do calming activities before you go to bed? Do you take a bath maybe? Do you do relaxation techniques like deep breathing or stretching or something like that? But creating that environment both externally in your room, but also just with your body to bring yourself down. And then the last thing is to have physical activity in your life. It's not recommended, if at all possible, to work out like right when you're ready to go to bed. But what it does is it creates, it gives you better sleep. It promotes better sleep because your body is getting that exercise, you're putting it in balance, but then it needs to rest and recover. So those are some of the tips that we found. There's a lot more, but those are all simple, they're realistic, and they're doable, and they can have a significant impact on your health and your sleep as well.
I'm still blown away by how many things are affected by lack of sleep, and we don't attribute it to this. And I think I've worked with, over the years, I've worked with many doctors, and I never hear them asking a patient, how are you sleeping? And and then if they did, they would address it with a pharmaceutical. And as we discussed yesterday, the pharmaceuticals cause their own issues. So long-term chronic not sleeping on your own or chronic sleeping with a sleep aid will cause many issues over time. So it's really important. There's no time like today to get started on taking care of yourself. And I think sleep's so good. And the older I get, when I was younger, I would run and, not get a lot of sleep. And I thought I didn't need a lot of sleep. I could survive without a lot of sleep. And I did. I functioned for the most part. But the older I get, my husband's always like, questioning, like, oh, you're sleeping? I'm like, yeah, I'm sleeping. I like sleeping now. He's like, no, you don't like sleeping. I'm like, I love sleeping. I really do.
Yeah.
I've decided I like sleeping. So we can relearn new things. So it's never too late, and you can always help your brain by learning a new habit. And I think incorporating any of the suggestions you made will be really helpful.
And what I would love as we wrap it up is, I know someone did this yesterday. Also, if you have any ideas on what you do to get better sleep, drop it in the comments.
Oh, that would be great.
Put you in the raffle, and we would love to share. We're all about learning from each other. So drop something in the comments. But thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah, share. We can all learn from each other. Share what's working for you or what you've tried that didn't work maybe. And I know there's like blue lights, yellow lights. There's a lot of talk about all that. And I used to even have a night light in my room, which I turn off and keep the room dark now. And I try to keep it cool too.
Good. Well, thank you all for tuning in.
Thanks, and keep posting and keep paying attention, because we're gonna have a raffle at the end of the week. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.